explain that. I think if I refill these, that gives me about 10 minutes, I think? 10 per minute, 200, that gives me 20 minutes. So we have 20 minutes. Oh well. I was Warhammer and had the Twitch integration for some reason. That was Caterium. That'll be a good material later. In fact, we're gonna crest this hill and we're gonna see if there's sulfur nearby. 564. Gonna have to do that, I think. Yeah, 300 is what we can do with that. Which is good because I can do that, which is 2. I forgot to build power cords. Isn't that just something, huh? Oh, good, it's right over here. But yeah, we're gonna do sulfur so that we can do the, we're gonna have to like take this across the goddamn desert, but definitely be worth it. I think this is the first one I'm after. We need more rods. If we run out of rods, we'll have to run all the way back to base, and then back all the way back. Which is crazy, but you gotta do what you gotta do, huh? Thank God we have just enough material. I just realized we definitely don't have enough material. I have 11 bullets. Oh. You gotta be kidding me, right? Alright, we're gonna have to hold out just a little bit. Please over, but we are technically immortal permanently. I didn't think that the Wiimod mod would stay after, but here we are. Yes, 6 bar rods. We are screwed. Up. Don't really know what Christopher Nolan was thinking. Like, you may as well have just made a unique movie and just not have proclaimed it as the Odyssey, even if it was inspired by the Odyssey. Right. Yeah, have to do this. It's a good movie, unique movie, but you were trying to sell it as the Odyssey. It's like, no. You made a movie that was kind of be fully saturated. 270 belt. I don't know. Isn't that crazy? I don't know, it's gonna be fully saturated. What do I care? Iron rods. Any iron close to me? I don't think so. Iron would be one of the rare resources, ironically enough. 435, not going that far. Pretty close. Get it? Yeah. Damn boy. Back to base and back. Obviously, as you can see, I'm gonna have to discover a whole other network. Yeah, here's the whole big power gap. Which is fine, because it's been like a couple of minutes. I really probably should get a little more consistent on the stream, but you know, you're working 9 to 5, you get, well, not 9 to 5 for me, obviously, you'll get working in that case, but here it is. That's poison. Ooh, well, another song or sleep again. I have to take it just because I freaking can. Do I need this? No. You gotta see, I literally have nothing to do about it. Use like tier 6 belts. So I use, yeah, I only had couldn't find a purple one, so I would have used that. Here we go. And we'll go over here. If, actually, I don't need any more of those. Using my Mercer spheres. These are hard drives. I guess slugs more efficient? I think they are. Their stats 50. Yeah. I'm Obviously, that's just gonna go perpetually in a circle. I should have placed silver in instead. It's not too late now. Oh, hey, buddy. Your remains. Right, I wanted rods. Get out your remaining shot. Still running unlimited time. Shoot. Right, now I remember. I think it's that right over there, actually. No, that's my limestone, damn it. Not much Shoot. I didn't do it for the sulfur, that's why. I did it for the coal, not the sulfur. Here's water. I think it's that over there. And the good news is we get extra because the reduced inputs, meaning yeah, I don't know what that means. I need to go back through and I'll have to attach these streams more on YouTube. That way it makes it easy for later viewers. Alright. Yeah, what we should probably be doing, we should probably be collecting the alt recipes. Oh well. I'll get that set up after this. Damn it. That should be funny. Oh yeah, I have all those. Wait, is that? Oh, uranium fuel units. I'm like, uranium plates? No. Uranium fuel units. I'll have to think about that one. My problem is the crystal oscillator. It seems pretty expensive for the uranium fuel rod. Yeah, like, considering it's usually that, like, this feels expensive. This one doesn't feel bad for the RCU. But it is a high-speed connector, so I'm not sure. I go with the molded beam. That's actually pretty good. Alright, now we can follow this guy. Heck yeah. I'm gonna go over to this. Compact coal. Require 12.5 to make 62. Yeah, that's crazy. In fact, screw it, we're just gonna do that as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, controls were hijacked. I've been hacked. Hey, we can just do the math. Hold on. Right, 21. Oh my gosh. I can operate 21 of these. It's just absolutely bonkers. No, I need motors. I should probably get motors set up, but we need power. Alright, with 120... we can do two 125s. Takes 402.9 megawatts. Oh god. I'm not even entirely certain we get that much power from that, so we're actually gonna pump these down just by one. Because I think it's exponential for these. It actually eats. What is this one? Oh, that's quartz. Okay. We need to get blue up the fuel. See how much this is costing me. It's like 402. Should I turn that off for just a minute? Is crazy. To be fair, I'm not entirely sure why I thought I would look at the time period in order to really make use of these, but power is actually pretty limited in the early game. But time to blue man. So
I'll do my cuckoo things. Next thing.
After all, we'll need to set up a big amount so we can take some for stators. No, not stators, for motors. So we'll have to just do this for a quick minute. But back to my topic about the Odyssey. For any of those of you who remember that I did start on that. Like, and spoilers for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey if you ever care for it. But like, you start off, it goes on a very Christian understanding of how the Greek gods worked. Like, they very much just say outright several times, well, not several times, but they make one mention that the gods don't actually interact with humans. You know, they send their messages through birds and the wind and all that. And if you're any way whatsoever knowledgeable in Greek mythology, you would quickly realize that that's not how they work. Like the Greek gods were not omniscient. I would argue they are very limited semi-omniscient. Like, because in the original tale, like Odysseus literally has to go, I am Odysseus, king of Ithaca, in order that's probably an Odyssey. In order for Poseidon to know, oh, okay, so that's the guy I gotta go prevent ever getting home. So that, instead they just kind of have Poseidon know. Because they still, blind it and all that. But, like, they don't actually, like, make a deal with the Cyclops. Like, in the original tale, they, like, bargain with him. Like, give him wine, be like, hey, we got great wine, we'll share, we'll take some for some of your cheese. And he's like, sure. And they drug him. And they blind him. I think he was gonna kill them all anyways, but still, like, they both do that and all that, so, that's a whole mess of in and of itself, but they blind him, and he prays to his father, like, Father, they blinded me, kill them, make them pay. And so Poseidon does, because Polyphemus was, like, his favorite, or something, I don't know. But, yeah, and, like, that sets up the plot. Like, Like, it is both. It is Odysseus' cunning that gets them out of the trouble that they started, and then it's his arrogance that gets them into it. But instead, Christopher Nolan decided, I'm gonna go into like the themes of like PTSD and, you know, regret and shit. Because like they have only one god show up, and it's Athena, and I think it's mainly because he didn't actually plan on showing her. They just, to make Tom Holland a little bit happier, they gave Zendaya a role, and they're like, well, I guess we can have like Athena show up since she is supposed to be like, you know, Odysseus' mentor. You know, meant to have, you know, guided him and all that shit. So now they just have her, like, be heavily implied, you know, after the entire movie is practically done, to be one of the priests that was executed during the Siege of Troy. And then that's what it all leads back to is, you know, the Siege of Troy and how that was, like, they literally call it, like, the downfall of the Bronze Age and, you know, of our civilization. Because like, they heavily imply that Odysseus and his crew were the Sea People, which makes absolutely no sense, given that the context, like for context, like they were saying the Sea People were coming in, like, you know, ravaging villages and towns all along the coast, and it was getting closer. But and mind you, this is like modern day, you know, well, not modern day for us, but like, you know, present day. The movie goes back and forth with flashbacks and all that. But the crew's been dead for 7 years. Odysseus' crew has been dead for 7 years, and Odysseus himself had been trapped on an island for 7 years. So he was trapped on Calypso's island for 7 years, which happens in the book too, so they did get that right. But, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, so, no, he couldn't possibly beat the Sea People because he hasn't been doing that. Especially considering, like, so they're implying one of two things. Either Odysseus and his crew hallucinated all the islands that they raided, and it's not like they ever really successfully raided anyone anyways. So they either hallucinated the dangers and they were actually just raiding people, or I don't even know what they were trying to make a point of. Like they could have at least said, the Sea People must have been sent by God to punish us for the Siege of Troy. Maybe at least I could be like, okay, I guess that's true. It doesn't make sense, but it makes better sense than the bullshit they were trying to sell us on otherwise. So, yeah, I don't understand, basically, like, shit don't add up. I'm very confused. Really, you know, they got rid of, like, the olive tree bed, because basically, you know, Penelope had 3 challenges for her suitors. The first, to string Odysseus' bow. My husband, you know, my new husband will have to be as strong as Odysseus, and as such, string his bow. Second challenge. Now you gotta shoot it through 12 axes. Whatever that really meant in the actual context of the lore, unclear. 19.6, so off of that 1, I can feed 5 for 187, never mind, we're doing perfect. But the third challenge, and this was like, and this is honestly the real true challenge, is they built their wedding bed into the olive tree that they met as kids. Or whatever. And so her challenge was
it wasn't even really a challenge, it was more like the last question was, you know, alright, cool. Can you move the wedding band? I don't like where it is. And of course, that's a sign of their love. So Odysseus like, what the fuck, bitch? What do you mean? How dare you move? How dare you ask me such a question? It's a symbol of our love. Why? But then she's like, oh good, it is actually you, Odysseus. Yeah, thank God. That was just a challenge to prove it was you successfully. And honestly, that's pretty fair considering the Greek gods. Like Zeus literally does have a habit of becoming married women husbands to fuck their wife. I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you may even be able to find him becoming somebody's wife just to get plowed by a guy. I can't prove that one, but I'm sure there's a tale somewhere. But, yeah. So honestly, yeah, that was a pretty cool, because it shows that, Penelope is just as smart as Odysseus, I think. She's just as... she's just as cunning, just as smart, just as ruthless. Which she kind of has to be, considering, she just kind of got it. She does kind of, I don't know if you necessarily watch, but definitely, hold on. Is, even in canon, and they do have a cool end scene of Odysseus killing all the suitors. But at least they got that part. What do you mean? It's fully independent grid. These cost me 40. I literally prevented you from connecting there. I don't understand. There we go. Okay, max consumption is 40. So still technically. But, yeah. But, they also don't have the Lotus Eaters, which, okay, fair enough. Lotus Eaters aren't really more interesting parts of the Odyssey. But instead they have him eating the lotus on Calypso's island. Because... And they literally, basically just say, oh yeah, because of your PTSD, I thought it would be better for you if you didn't have your memories of your time, pillaging and destroying Troy. Kind of as seemed more of an excuse. I mean, a valid excuse, of how he wrote the story, yeah, but still excusing. the overarching moral of the story is more of a, this was your punishment for Saturn Troy. Really? Like, that seemed to be the more overall arching message. This is your guys' punishment for the Saturn Troy. And basically, which not really how that works, but also they more refer to it practically word for word as the golden rule. Treat others how you'd be treated. Like, they verbatim say, treat others how you want to be treated. Which is honestly insane to me. Like, wait, what do you mean? At all how that works. Something completely different. Xenia is more of the rules. They also refer to it as Zeus's law for some reason. Like, no, that shit wasn't specific to just Zeus. It was the general, like... It was the general, like, hey, the gods, you know, come and visit sometimes, so you kind of got to treat them nice, otherwise they may curse you. And that was kind of like a general, like, shit kind of happens. Ah, pass you school. But, yeah, overall, like I said, it's a very, very fucking Christian understanding. I think just doesn't line up with how Greek mythology actually fucking works. And yeah. And personally, I think Epic, because my brother was like, now we gotta watch Epic, I show you what that truly is supposed to be. And I gotta admit, like, yeah, I feel like the people behind Epic, like, actually understood these signs. Oh my god, let me each of these flowers right there. Got it. But yeah, overall, Odyssey 10 out of 10 for being the weirdest fucking, one of the weirder Odyssey adaptations, I would have to say. I have to watch some others to figure out, like, to see them line up. Like, I think even Rick fucking Riordan does a better job of doing his weird adaptation. I don't even know if you can really classify it as an adaptation of the Odyssey, but like, I feel like they do to kind of go and meet the same exact fucking people. Seem to take like, a lot of like the Odyssey tales are rewritten there. I wouldn't say they're rewritten, but like they get re-experienced. So I really do think that's a better version. if you would. Or just, you know, you can go and watch Epic. Like, they do also change a lot of shit. But I do think it's in better suited to the actual themes of the Odyssey. Kind of. Like, it. I think it still tries to do a different story, but I think it does it well. Basically what I'm saying is Epic is a much more tasteful adaptation. So, you know, he does act, instead of it being self-joy, he more feels bad for killing a defenseless baby. So he decides I can show him a little bit more mercy in my life. And, of course, he decides to blind a person. Save that mercy. Which supposedly for disabilities were like seen as, oh, now you're like worthless, basically. And like that kind of like becomes like defining E. For some reason, I'm still not entirely sure. I don't think it works. It's still a... And that becomes the theme there, where you have mercy. Sometimes, you know, ruthlessness is a mercy upon yourself, depending on your own. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Start taking my allergy meds. But yeah. Just got a model taking it and of course Epic the Musical. And personally I cannot wait to have Epic the Musical movie. I actually have no idea what the conversion will actually is. I mean, to get no idea.
mostly we're going to finalize expanding it next time. It will come down to pretty much 8. We'll just get that last hill set in. I do like the T-jumps. I think that's pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think that's going to be it for today. Let me just